Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the February 6th, 2026 meeting of the Baltimore City Planning Commission, number 2085. I'm your chair, John Maria. We have a relatively short agenda today, which hopefully will average down from a 9.5-hour meeting last month who were participating. So let's start with please. So.
I got 1 moment. That's what I'm trying to get to. Yeah. Okay, let me see it for Robin. I need to be muted in WebEx. Not present. Councilman Bullock.
Present.
Christine Griffin is excused. Talib Horn is not with us. Commissioner Jolin.
Present.
Commissioner McCoach.
Present.
Jane Lewis for the mayor.
Present.
Vice Chair Stevenson.
Present.
And Chairman Laria.
Here. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. We have actually two sets of minutes to approve because last time, I think through my inadvertence, we did not approve the December 20th minutes. So we have minutes for the December 20th and January 15th meetings of the commission. Is there a motion to approve them, please?
One correction, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
On looks the December 11th minutes, item number 7. The record shows that I was against, but I was an abstention on that item.
Did you say December 11 or 20? I'm looking at 20 here. Maybe which date is wrong? One of these dates is wrong.
And the minutes also say the 11th.
Is the 20th just a typo? I was just reading from the agenda. My apologies.
It may well be. I'll double check. So it's number 7. You're abstained?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can fix that.
With that, I'll motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. On the consent agenda, we do have CIP transfers, including a number that fall into the not consistent with the CIP category. So we're going to have staff come up and walk us through those, please.
Hi, good afternoon. Nelson Vasconcelos, CIP analyst for DOP. So there are 2 transfers from the January 21st BOE meeting. First being the transfer from for Rec and Parks from the Clifton Park Maintenance Yard to the Carroll Park Maintenance Yard. That is basically the transfer is to align with the open space grants that were approved by the State Board of Public Works on December 17th of last year. The second from the 21st is a transfer of $1 million from Florence Cummins Park to Robert Marshall Field. Essentially, the Rec and Parks needs additional funds to accept a base bid into alternates. So they are transferring from Florence Cummins to that Robert Marshall, and then the Florence Cummins project will be made whole through the FY27 CIP process.
So we have, I'm sorry, so I don't have it in front of me, but the Cummins Park, I see Ms. Pernell in the back, we're going to catch up with that when we can verify, et cetera. So, okay, got it. Just, so you're moving it to the current year and then we'll make up for it in the next budget year? Okay, thank you.
And then from the 4th, excuse me, that's HCD, $2 million from the Emergency Mortgage Housing Assistance Program to the Homeowner Incentives Program. Those are CDBG funds.
I'm sorry, did you
sorry.
move on to the other date?
Yeah, my apologies, February 4th.
No, it's all right. There's just a small one on number 3, if you would.
Oh, I believe that was consistent, so
Oh, it says not consistent on the copy that I'm looking at.
Oh, that was, I think we have an updated copy, but it will be consistent. It's going from reserve to active
Right.
For that same purpose.
That's the Facilities Master Plan falls.
Exactly.
Okay. So just for the record, the item at least that's posted here, that one is 181,500 is consistent with the CIP. Okay, you can move to the other
Thank
date
you.
then, thanks.
And then for the February 4th, yesterday's BOE, $2 million from the Emergency Mortgage Assistance Program to the Homeowner Incentives Program. The staff is recommending CDBG appropriations are not currently required for that emergency mortgage program for FY26. And
Could you elaborate on not currently required?
we've reached out to HCD and we're waiting to hear back, and we will provide some detail as soon as we get that.
Okay, well, I'm not suggesting we shouldn't approve it because it's
Yeah.
probably rational, but it would be good if you could follow up with us in writing or at the next meeting, please.
ASAP.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there a motion to approve those CIP transfers?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Second.
Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Approved. The next three items all relate to, well, you want to call them for us, and then I'll make just a quick comment?
Talking about number 4.
No, it's 4, 5, and, well, it's number 4, yeah.
Number 4 is a city council bill, street opening portion of Falls Road at the intersection of West Cold Spring Lane. Are we taking these individually?
Just read them all,
Do
because
you
we're going to
know?
do them as a
Okay.
consent item, I believe, unless someone.
We also have a portion of Falls Road at the intersection of West Cold, we've got 2 items related to the intersection of Falls Road and West Cold Spring Lane. A third, actually. This one is a sale of property at Falls Road and Cold Springs Lane.
Okay, so from the materials, this has been to the commission and is back here essentially for ratification of that approval. Accordingly, it would ordinarily be on the consent agenda if there's no objection. Is there any objection to it remaining on the consent agenda? Let me ask the commission. If not, is there a motion to approve item number 4 on the consent agenda? We'll just do it by voice vote.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Commissioner Jolin, Vice Chair. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That's approved. And then the next item, I understood when I reviewed the materials why number 4 was consent. It wasn't totally clear to me why the next one, which I guess I would ask someone to read into the record so that we have it, and then you can just answer my quick question, please.
Sure. And I don't have the date in front of me, but this was also a prior case that had been before the Planning Commission, and the bill is now just referred to us for the final action.
This is, I'll just for the record, CCB 250132, City Streets Closing, North Vincent Street, Forney Street, and a 2-foot alley. There was something about it. Maybe the fact that the memo from DOT to the council, December 2025. And I was just looking for the prior history, that's all. And if it's, maybe I missed it.
Okay, it might have been we missed uploading the prior action document, but in short, the closure is to allow for the assembly of property so that the park that is there can be redeveloped for a rec center.
Again, this is not a substantive question whatsoever, but the bill was introduced. Do we have it before it became a bill? Because the bill
Yes.
was only introduced in November of '25.
Right, the preferred method is that we see it once as a request for consideration
Yeah.
as part of your master plan authority. You make the finding of no further public need, and then later on,
Yeah.
1 or 2 or 3 bills
Yeah.
will be generated, and then that goes on the consent agenda.
So that is totally rational, and yes, I'm familiar with the process. I just, so you're saying that we just don't have on the site the prior administrative action that made it, before it made its way up to
Yeah, if
become
you
a
don't
bill?
see the prior planning commission staff report in there, then I missed it on the upload.
Okay. We will take your word for it. Is there a motion to approve item number 5?
Motion to approve?
Been moved, Vice Chair. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the councilman. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll move to the regular agenda. Item 6, the Walter P. Carter Inspire Plan is postponed. Let's move to item 7, Mr.
Item
Executive Director.
7 is a street closing of 2 air rights portions of the 1900 block of McElderry Street.
All right, good afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon.
So the item before us, item 7, is a request for air rights over 2 portions of McElderry Street, 1900 block to be exact. The petitioner is Department of Transportation on behalf of Caroline Hecker. The owner of the property is Johns Hopkins University. It's in the Eastern Planning District, and the community planner is Imani Fox. This is a map of the area that shows the general location of the air rights being requested over McElderry Street. Here's an aerial photo of the site and the location of the air rights being requested or outlined in red. This is a bird's eye view of this of the existing Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, and the red bars give us a general idea of where the 2 bridges will connect to the site being developed across the street. Here's a site plan and elevation. The site plan is on the left. The existing building is at the top. The proposed or building being developed right now is at the bottom of the screen, and you can see the red bar in between depicting where the 2 bridges would be located. And on the right side is a elevation and section showing where the 2 bridges are located if you were standing on the opposite side of the street. And here's a rendering showing the proposed pedestrian bridges. Okay. Site analysis. According to the Department of Transportation, there are utilities that exist within the air rights being proposed, and there are conditions in the staff report that address that, and those will be in the next slide. The road will remain open to vehicles, cyclists, and pedestrians, and they're meeting the necessary height requirements for clearance. And the design has been reviewed and approved by UDAP, and staff anticipates no substantial long-term disruptions to traffic within this area. And recommendations is our approval with condition. Those conditions are standard for all air rights requests, and those are a utility easement shall be provided for all utilities not abandoned or relocated as a result of the closure of air rights for McElderry Street. The second is any and all relocation expenses shall be the responsibility of the applicant, property owner, or designee. And last, any relocation work shall conform with the applicable and necessary construction/reconstruction standards. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one quick question before I turn to others. I'm very familiar with the sort of utilities retention language and all the options. I'm not sure I understand how there are utilities in the air rights.
So there are some, I don't know if you can see it in the image, but there are some wires that travel underneath of where the bridges will be located.
Right.
So the lowest point of clearance is 28 feet. And so I believe when the Department of Transportation was looking at the site, they may have felt that there might be some overlap there. So I believe that's what the
Maybe we can
conflict
ask
is in
the
regard to.
applicant I'm just trying to understand it, that's all. So, I mean, because the question I have is the idea is that we're closing from an elevation up.
Yes.
So either they're either above or below that elevation. If they're below, then it's irrelevant. And if they're above, it's relevant, but I'm not sure I understand. I'm
Yeah,
just
correct.
curious.
Yeah, if it's below that elevation, then there won't be any issue when they write and have the easement recorded. But if there are any conflicts with, wires or utilities that are traveling under, let's say if the wire that's traveling under was in conflict, they would have to relocate that or change some things.
Okay, well, maybe the applicant will have a little bit more insight. Are there questions for staff before we ask the applicant if they want to come up? Colleagues, questions? No. The applicant is here. Ms. Hecker?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Caroline Hecker, Rosenberg, Martin Greenberg, on behalf of Johns Hopkins. I'm joined by Stacy Coe from Hopkins, who's here as well. Thank you, Mr. Heath, for that excellent report. I can answer your question about the utilities. There are some utilities in the area right now. They're all going to be relocated as part of the new building project underground. So any existing wires that are in that area are going to end up going below grade as part of the new Bloomberg School of Public Health building.
So there will or will not be an easement?
We won't need to have an easement because there won't be any utilities there.
Okay. Okay. Are there any questions from the commission for the applicant?
Question. Yeah.
Yes?
What is the purpose? I mean, obviously, in my knowledge of Baltimore, we're trying not to do these projects any longer. So is there more of a purpose of just getting people? Is it health benefit? Like, can you give me a little more information on why we're doing this?
I think it is to allow easier travel back and forth within the school. I mean, it's all part of the School of Public Health building and campus, and to allow faculty, staff, students, and for research purposes to not have to take stuff outside to transfer materials, documents, research materials back and forth between the buildings without taking them outside.
Great, thank you.
Okay, other questions?
Just a
Yes.
quick question, Caroline.
Commissioner?
Mike. The illustration in the planning department's presentation showed bridges that were separated. This drawing shows them much closer together. I'm trying to understand which is the one.
The site plan that's up there is very rough and conceptual. I would not suggest that that's entirely to scale. That was created to show, to label dimensions of how tall things were, like where the heights were going to be. The elevation that's on the right side is accurate.
Accurate, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so they are fairly close
They
together.
are fairly close together, yes.
And is there any reason why they couldn't be stacked?
I can't speak to the design of it. I do know that it was reviewed by UDAP, and this is what they ultimately approved.
Perfect, okay. thank you.
I just play an architect on TV.
No, that's good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Other questions for the applicant? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the item. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by the councilman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner McCoach. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote on this item, please.
Robin Allen,
Approve.
Councilman Bullock,
Approve.
Commissioner Jolin,
Approve.
Commissioner McCoach,
Approve.
Jane Lewis,
Approve.
Vice Chair Stevenson,
Approve.
Chairman Laria.
Approve. Thank you. Move to the next item.
Next item is City Council Bill 25-0136, a rezoning at 3009 Greenmount Avenue.
We need Austin. One moment while they fetch Austin.
Are we moving too quickly for Austin today?
It's a bit of a guess, but
I notice, I think you've circulated a letter of support from Councilman Ramos, who I know is also here. Is it possible just to get hard copies of that made? And
yeah, I shot an email to the back to have somebody print it, and
Perfect.
hopefully I'll text them. They may not have seen the email.
Yep. Thank you.
I don't see. Yeah, I sent it to Brandon, but he may not have seen it yet. It's your turn.
Welcome.
Hello. Sorry, that was a lot faster than I anticipated y'all getting here. Good afternoon. This is City Council Bill 25-0136. It's a rezoning for 3009 Greenmount Avenue from R6 to C2. And for the record, I'm Austin Davis, staff. Here we have the parcel outlined here. It's this auxiliary parish house building that used to be part of the church. And I wanted to have the parcel outline showed just so that we can also see that the cemetery is not part of this property. Here it is from the street view. You can note the laundromat next door. And then here is the plat map. So just to summarize the request, the auxiliary building of the St. John's Episcopal Church is no longer used by them. It's been proposed to be rezoned from R6 to C2 to establish the Bit Center Art Gallery and Gastronomy Center, including Be More Pasta. So this will continue and expand an existing commercial kitchen and add a community event space. It's going to add an art gallery exhibition component, create a gastronomy center for cooking and nutrition education, and they'll be supporting a youth workforce, employing about 6 local youth for the pasta manufacturing component. As it stands right now, this is our current zoning map, so we can see there's quite a lot of uses along the Green Mountain corridor here. And here's our general land use plan. So we can see that we envisioned, a mixed use, predominantly residential use for this lot, but noting directly to the south that there is a predominantly pedestrian auto-oriented commercial designation, and I'll kind of get into this throughout the analysis portion of the report. So here are proposed map amendments, and I'm going to kind of go through all of them. Just kind of starting out by, we require one of the following to approve the rezoning, either a change in the neighborhood or a mistake in the current zoning. In this case, the property is zoned R6, but the applicant stated operations are more commercial community serving. R6 doesn't allow that proposed or described uses, so C2. C2 is great for pedestrian commercial orientation, and it supports the uses that the applicant has listed here. In terms of population trends, the Better Waverly area has seen a 3 to 4% population decline year over year since 2020. However, the Green Mountain West neighborhood in the corridor along Green Mountain, kind of like Abel area, has seen a 6 to 7% growth. So we're seeing a consistent residential turnover and reinvestment along Green Mountain Avenue. Public services, it's well served by municipal water, sewer, public services, buses. No major changes to the traffic or transit patterns. And now here I kind of want to get into a little bit of the compatibility with the area. So this would allow, more of this, like I mentioned, more of the surrounding properties kind of would benefit from this. We see the C1, C2, IMU1, R7 all around this. So adding in this community resource center kind of like lifts up these, local retails and services. And I want to say that while zoning determinations are not based on a specific user, staff notes that the intended community-oriented use reflects a transitional low-impact commercial function consistent with the surrounding context, and it supports the adaptive reuse of the existing structure without any significant physical alteration. So in short, this is a pretty good step down. If we're going to be changing and rezoning, this is a logical, change to make. In terms of the proposed, zoning amendment, everything will be reviewed by city agencies as needed. And in terms of our alignment to the comp plan, that land use map that I showed earlier, I wanted to kind of bring this up because, as I mentioned, multifamily residential was the initial idea that that parcel, would become or move to. However, because the parcel just immediately abutting it is this, more pedestrian-oriented zoning, this is not a departure from our designation in the comp plan. However, this is more flexibility because there's going to be transition points, and we can't all be soothsayers and know exactly what's going to happen to certain buildings, when the plan was made. In this context, the rezoning can be accommodated without undermining the plan's broader residential framework. So that's really the thing I want to point out here, especially as we talk about certain types of spot zoning changes and whatnot. While C2 does permit a broader range of uses than currently envisioned for this parcel, staff finds that the lot size, configuration, and adjacency conditions limit the likelihood of some sort of out-of-scale development, and that the approval of this rezoning alone wouldn't, materially alter Green Mountain Avenue and the surrounding neighborhood context. In terms of equity, near-term and long-term, like I said, the rezoning can support the adaptive reuse of this vacant or underutilized building, so it brings in, a nice little neighborhood-serving tenant. In terms of long-term, like I said, C2 allows for more options over time. It could be housing, retail, community-serving uses, and hopefully, if shaped by the community needs and obviously with the help of the city, the site can strengthen walkability, serve and support local entrepreneurship, and reinforce reinvestment along the Green Mountain corridor. Green Mountain Ave, really does reflect long-term impacts of redlining, disinvestment, and a lot of the nearby blocks are majority Black and face vacancy and underemployment. So this rezoning can support some sort of incremental reinvestment along the community and support these community-serving uses. The internal operations of the rezoning itself will not significantly affect day-to-day operations for the city, and the site's been posted, communication sent out, gov delivery as well, and the recommendation is approval from staff. Thank you.
Questions for Mr. Davis? Yep.
Thanks, great presentation. I was wondering if you could quickly provide us a quick summary of the distinction between C1 and C2 in terms of permitted uses and specifically why that choice?
Yeah, so for this, C2 kind of makes a little bit more sense because it won't, I guess, it won't give as much, the potential build out in the future, should this change, is more in alignment with what our comp plan has. And I think in terms of, I don't want to play like the worst case scenario game, but this has a better potential outlook, let's say 15 years from now at the C2 versus C1 designation. And if we'd like, I can get into potential full build outs, but I don't think it's, it is worth noting that, obviously C1 is what everything currently is zoned for, but C2 does make a little bit more sense in our more pedestrian oriented zoning code.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Vice Chair.
Can you just clarify what about the proposed use triggers the need for the zoning change?
Yes, it's the commercial kitchen.
I may be looking at the wrong map. Can you go? So this is I'm looking for, I need an area map. Where's the zoning map, the surrounding zoning? Is there anything broader, or is that as broad as you have, Andy?
This was the little screenshot I grabbed. The residential zones continue to the east and into the west, while C just continues down the spine of Greenmount.
So is it Exeter Hall below it? Or is it what street is that?
30th is directly across the 30th. Exeter Hall is kind of where 3,009.5 begins to jut up, I believe. South. Is it south? Oh, then it's all the way south. Oh, that's Old
Exeter
River
Hall
Road,
is
right?
like 29th Street, isn't it? Yeah.
Near
yeah,
Ace Hardware and Giant.
It's further up.
Yeah, there's Giant and Ace are further up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Exeter Hall lines up with 29th Street, I think, as you cross
Yeah.
cross Green. So it's below. Yeah,
It's south.
Right. Okay. Okay. Questions for staff? Is there an applicant here? Or are you the applicant, Councilwoman? Oh, I'm sorry. Should we hear from the applicant first, or Councilwoman, would you like to go first?
However you decide, Mr. Chair.
Let's hear from the Councilwoman and I refer everybody, there's a letter from Councilwoman Ramos that was not posted in the Wix site, but is now available to the commissioners at your places, and I'm sure you'll probably reiterate what you want to, so please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. I apologize for my late submission of my letter. That's why it's not on your Wix site. It's totally my fault. I'm really excited about this project going in. I get that a C2 is a little different than what's surrounding here, but when you hear from Ms. LaPenta about what they're planning on doing here, you'll know why this is important to have that flexibility. And it is really going to be a place where folks can come together. This is the Baltimore Italian Center, and we call it the BIT Center. I have to tell you the evolution of how all this happened, right? So St. John's Church, that entire campus closed several years ago. If any of you live nearby, you know that we used to have that bell. And we used to time our 5:30s with the bell, right? Well, the bell is no longer ringing, which has been very frustrating for some of us, although some people didn't like how loud it was, but that's beside the point. And so, that entire campus is deemed historic and it's really been the center of the Better Waverly community for a long time. So when it closed, there was like, what are we going to do about this? So Ms. LaPenta and the BIT Center during COVID did some yeoman's work on making sure that so many people were fed while they were still in their homes. I remember volunteering for her to serve get hot meals that they made to be able to get to residents. And they've done a great job of really expanding the work based on food. Her belief and the belief of the BIT Center is that, you can't be healthy and you can't be stable unless you're eating and you're eating well. And so she's really expanded the services based on that concept, and she'll talk about it a little bit more. And so she was looking for some space. I begged. You all have seen me grovel, and I did do that also, her to say, let's meet with the Episcopal Diocese so that you could try to be in this site. And so they agreed, and the rest is history. The partnership happened. They have been working together. Recently, the Episcopal Diocese, who by law still has to deal with the cemetery and the site, is going to, we're still thinking about what to do with the rest of the site, but decided to go ahead and transfer this particular subdivision to Monica and to the BIT Center so that they can upgrade the parish hall, make it a banquet hall, make it a commercial kitchen, do cooking classes. Their social enterprise is Be More Pasta, which is run by young people. So it's really geared towards, good eating habits, but also really engaging the community. The other reason that I thought this was going to be really important partnership is because my predecessor, Mary Pat, had really talked a lot about utilizing this area as a place for bringing people together, for getting resources. And so this is really that first step in making that entire campus fulfilling the vision that she had for that particular campus. And it really fits in, I think, well with our vision for Greenmount Avenue, to be able to have diverse services, to be able to have a place where people come because they're just familiar with it, and to bridge this divide. As was said by staff, Greenmount Avenue is the boundary of, one of the boundaries of the white butterfly, or the black butterfly and the white L. And so this will really help to bring people together. So I'm really excited about this project. In terms of the criteria relative to neighborhood change or an error, it's not an error. It is that neighborhood change that we're really seeing and how important it is for the community. I think it'll be, as the community really evolves and grows, we have super stable communities, but we also have things that need work. I mean, just north of there is the Mural Building, which has a VBN on it. It's like, so upset about the whole thing, but we'll get there. And so I think that this having this activity here really will spark a lot of good activity on Greenmount, and I hope you'll approve because I think it's going to be great.
Thanks. I do have some questions, but I would love to hear first from the applicant.
Sure.
Would you come up? That'd be great. Were there any questions for the councilwoman at the moment? We certainly. Okay, please come on up. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Monica Lapenta. I'm the Executive Director of the BIT Center. Thank you, Austin, for the presentation, and thank you, Councilwoman, for the support. I will address question first, if there is any question for me. The building is, going a little bit more into the detail, the building is at 12,000 square feet with a second floor, so the total is 14,000 square feet. It is in a lower level, first level, that has a classic event space for the parish hall, and we are not changing anything. We're keeping the same. It's an historical building, so the outside will look all the same. The inside has been kept pristine. So we have done renovation. Thank you to Ziegler and Sneed, very conservatively. And our organization, our nonprofit, has 5 main programs. The building is the Forge. That is a way for us to first listen to the community. I met with the community first when Councilwoman asked me to consider the building, and I asked the community, what do you need? What do you want? Because undertaking so big of an endeavor for us would have been silly without hearing the need of the community first. So we meet with Better Waverly stakeholder every month. They have access to our building. They ask for the use of the communities of the conference room, but everybody has said the same thing. We want our kids to find a job that is close to home, and find a job where you can get access to it through public transportation. Our building, if you're familiar with where we are, it's exactly across the street and in front of a public transportation stop. The red line stops exactly right there. And for a moment, we had a purple line, which I hope we will have back again. That would be another part very important for our youth. Our youth are 14 to 24. Most of them don't drive, don't have money to have to buy a car. So for us, it's crucial to be near a public transportation access point. We run, one of the programs that we run, that is Beamer Pass as a social enterprise, is run by youth. They learn every aspect of running a business. In our case, it's a food business because we are a public health organization. But it's important for them to learn a very easy process of making pasta and sell it. They make it, they sell it to the farmer's market, they learn every process about it, and that's a stable income for them. And we have currently 6 young people, and we were able to retain 6 young people. And so it's very important to have the parents involved into their journey, because it's important for us not just to create job, but to be able to go on this journey with our young people until they decide either to go to college, to change path, and we assist them to that. The Italian Cultural Center program is the older part of our organization that was founded in 1955. It's mostly art and culture. We assist Italian company. I don't know, one very new is US Wind here. So Italian company that wants to understand how Maryland and Baltimore works. And when they come in, that's the assistance that we do. We support Baltimore institutions like the Walters and their staff if they want to go to Italy or have a conversation with Italy about cultural exchange. The Be a Chef for a Day, it's a community health that is one of the 5 programs that we have, is a community health for children of the age of 5 to 12. What we teach them is how to cook, how to eat. It's in collaboration with Morgan State University. And the lower level of the building that was at that time was mostly a space where they were serving food. It's adjacent to the commercial kitchen. Is going to be completely dedicated to gastronomy education. That means that everybody that has access and wants access to food can come to us, get a box of food, and learn what to do with it. So you're not only learning what food does to your body and why you should change long-term your habit in terms of nutrition, but how to prepare a healthy meal. And that's the support that we wish. We have never had a building of this scale. We had a smaller kitchen before, and this space will allow us to serve as many people. We do have a food distribution on a weekly basis on Tuesday. We serve 450 families roughly among programs every week. So that would be an expansion for us to be able to provide the gastronomy education to a larger population. Is there anything that I forgot?
That was a terrific presentation and a great.
Thank you. Sorry.
Congratulations on everything that you're doing and all the ambition you have for this site. It's really terrific.
Thank you.
Are there questions for Ms. LaPenta? Or other questions for the councilwoman? Council, I just have a quick question for you. It's really more, it's a broader question that this raises. It's not about this, which I'm delighted to support. I just wonder, and both for you and the staff, I'm looking at a larger area map, and as of course you well know, the Greenmount Corridor is largely C1 with bits and pieces of C2, and it's a mishmash of stuff as you would expect because of the sort of land uses there. Is C1 still the right thing for that corridor? Or maybe the alternative way to ask the question would be, the trigger for this is that it's a commercial kitchen. Is that what you said, Mr. Tisa? That's what's making the C2, or maybe Mr.
Yeah, the commercial kitchen.
Commercial kitchen. Mm-hmm. And maybe we should consider whether a commercial kitchen should be conditional in a C1. It's just more of a lesson learned kind of question.
Yeah,
and I just wonder whether we could at least look at that question. I don't want to open a can of worms. I'm not trying to make it messier than it needs to be. I think this is supportable, but I think what happens, here is you need these anecdotes to teach you whether or not you got it right in the
Yeah.
code.
Yeah.
So it's worth a discussion, and maybe the staff could take a look at it, and
Yeah.
if the answer is no, that would create all sorts of other problems, and let's not do it. But, who knows if
Right.
there might be a tweak that
Yeah,
makes sense.
when Monica first came to me about the project and I said, oh, we're going to have to rezone it, the first thing I thought of was, well, can we do the neighborhood commercial designation and not have, and just do a conditional use? But because it was a church use, there's no history of a use like this there, technically, right? Technically. And even the zoning card had something completely different, so. And so, so it made sense to move in this direction. As you said, Mr. Chair, whenever we do a rezoning, we always learn from it about whether or not maybe C1 makes sense for commercial kitchen or whatever. But I do think that in this case, C2 is appropriate, even if the commercial kitchen wasn't always it, because there's the banquet hall, there's a few other things in there that she wants to do, and I want to make sure that she's got the maximum flexibility right now for that space. But I hear you. I think it's worth having a further discussion around what is included in a C1, particularly since commercial kitchens and these kinds of things are actually getting more popular and can only be in C2 and above. So it is worth reflecting on, and that's something we can talk to the chair about.
Ms. Davis?
And, building off of that, staff also just wants to kind of assuage any fears about like the differences in C1 and C2 in this type of rezoning, because, as the councilwoman said, that the commercial kitchen is the main reason. It's the uses and the use characteristics of a C2 more aligned for this site than with C1. So I think to your point, a C1 plus conditional that double-barreled approach might not actually be as good because of how our zoning code specifies the uses for C2 compared to C1 and what they want to use the site for. But in terms of build out though, and zoning and size and whatnot, for a parcel this small, there isn't that big of a difference between C1 and C2.
Right. I mean, the next broader question is just, Director, Mr. Tiso, we're trying to create commercial vitality in these corridors, right? And, there's a good reason that there's a C1 and a C2, certainly a good reason for a C3, which is a whole nother kettle of fish. But I just want to make sure that we've struck that balance right, because there might be uses that we should be evaluating, that sort of cuspier uses that should maybe be moved. But again, I'm not proposing that today. It just when you hear this kind of presentation and you realize you have a use like that, it seems like it's worth at least some discussion. And again, if it's opening up a can of worms unnecessarily, then please. That's not what I'm interested in, but I'm just hoping maybe we can think about it as we try and do these. You got these mixed corridors where you want to have all sorts of retail and service opportunities for residents.
Yeah, and I will say, Mr. Chair, that there's going to start to be, we do have a Waverly Main Street master plan, but that's old, so we're starting anew, and I think that can be part of the conversation. And then we actually are thinking about making this at some point a conservation district, because it's got such a mishmash. It wouldn't be appropriate as a historic district, but it could be as a conservation district. We're going to start in Chum first, in my district, but it is something that we've been talking about for this particular corridor, because I think that provides a real opportunity for the area. So I think that your question will come up in that discussion also.
And my very last question, I promise, is you said that this church is historic. Is it historic in this CHAP designated historic, or historic in a more generic sense?
I think it's on our list, isn't it?
Not our building, only the original church building.
Oh, is the original church building, not the parish
Not the
hall?
hall.
Oh, okay. Well, we can change that. That's fine.
Just asking. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other questions for the councilwoman, applicant, staff? Hearing none. Is there a motion to accept the staff's recommendation? Thank you very much. Is there the recommendation for approval? Is there a motion to accept that?
I think there's just we just need one clarification on the findings of fact, if we're going with the staff's recommendation of mistake or the councilwoman's representation of a change.
I thought it was the staff, were they both not change? Forgive me, I thought when I read the staff report.
Change.
Okay, never mind.
No, I want you to be comfortable.
No, I perhaps I was mistaken. I thought that Austin had said mistake. but if the report says change, then that's
I
fine.
think the windup where churches could go either residential on redevelopment or commercial, it's a 50/50. So there was a chance for us getting it wrong.
Yeah.
That may be what you heard because it was marked in the general land use plan for residential instead. And just by way of background, tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of our new permit system. So as things are stabilizing, we're starting the background work internally to look at the general land use plan for a quick cycle to be able to correct things like this that may have been missed on the first
Yeah, and
pass.
just for the record, I know you have this, Mr. Vice Chair, but just for the record, the staff report that I'm looking at says, in this case, the applicant seeks to rezone. The planning department finds that the rezoning is appropriate under the quote substantial change criteria, and then, of course, it goes into the details.
Great.
Just so folks know.
I'd like to add a comment.
Please.
So as to not hold up the vote. So I've been on the Waverly Main Street Design Panel for 6 years now. It's great, and I think that, I think this project is really complementary to things that we see, like the town hall building. And I think it's really important to add some long-term stability to that particular location because it's been such an anchor for so long, which is why I would support it.
Thank you. All right. If there are no other comments, we'll have we had a motion, did we not? Yes, we had a motion, and then you had a question, or did we not have a motion yet?
I don't think we had a motion.
I'm sorry. Is there a motion, please?
I'd love to make a motion to support the recommendation of staff.
All right. Commissioner McCoach, is there a second?
Second.
Second by the councilman. All right. Any further discussion? If not, we'll have a roll call vote, please. Mr. Tissot?
Robin Allen,
Approve.
Councilman Bullock,
Approve.
Claudia Jolin,
Approve.
Doug McCoach,
Approve.
Jane Lewis,
Approve.
Eric Stevenson,
Approve.
and John Laria.
Approve. Great. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Councilwoman. The next item, please.
Next item is City Council Bill 25-0128. It's a conditional use conversion of a single-family dwelling to 3 dwelling units in the R8 zoning district at 1118 North Carey Street.
Good afternoon, Commission. Justin Walker with DOP here on 25-128. This is a conditional use rezone with variances for 1118 North Carey Street. The owner and petitioner is Derek Shaw, who's here today. This is in the West Planning District where Tariq Bolden is the community planner. Just to get us oriented, we have a map.
I'm sorry. Did you say what council district it was in?
It's
in the 9th.
9th.
Yeah, I just want to be sure.
Yeah. Yeah, ninth Councilmatic District. For orientation here, this is in the Sandtown Winchester neighborhood over on the west side. Take a quick look at the plat here. It's in a sea of a couple blocks of townhouse R8 zoning, row house R8 zoning. And a quick satellite view, you can see there has been some demolition on the block to remove some vacants, which is where we see that green field next to the property. Dropping down to the street view, we can see there's one occupied unit on the end there, and this row is otherwise vacant housing, including currently the subject property. And so what we're here on today are 2 requests that are included within the bill. The first is the conditional use conversion. It's in the R8 zoning district, so 9701 requires that by ordinance of City Council. The proposal is to go from a single-family dwelling to 3 units with 1 bedroom each. And there's also relief required from the Balkan Yard standards. I would talk about that on this slide, as it does require an amendment. In December, Ordinance 2563 took effect, which of course adjusted our Balkan Yard standards. The bill was drafted before that took effect, so there's a bit of a change. You can see just in the bold here, the proposed amendment strikes the old requirement, which was 1,500. That is now reduced. It's 500 square feet per dwelling unit, which is multiplied by 2.5, because after you're 50%, you get to round up. So 1,250 square feet are now required, which reduces the variance from 27% down to 12%. So as far as the conditional use standards on the Swartz v. Pritt standard, staff didn't find that a multifamily use would be any more impactful at this location than in any other similarly zoned site, and each of those criteria are addressed in the staff report. Moving on to the more difficult variance standards, staff finds that there is an exceptional circumstance with this property. When the applicant purchased the property, he was under the impression it was already zoned for 3 dwelling units. The structure is already framed out for 3 dwelling units, which staff does believe rises to the practical difficulty level beyond the mere inconvenience, as the project wouldn't be viable without the variance. When the applicant went to install the BGE meters, BG&E does do a zoning verification before the meters are installed. That's when it was discovered that this property still had the single-family authorization. And all the other findings are addressed in the staff report, but just in summary, staff finds no reason why the variance would be insidious to the public interest, health, or welfare. As far as the equity analysis, this would return a vacant building to productive use. The applicant was able to attain a letter of support from the Sandtown Winchester Community Collective, and it will add more housing options within the Sandtown Winchester neighborhood. The property met the required 10-day posting, and staff also sent out notice via the Gov delivery system. So with that, our recommendation is to approve with the amendment that updates the Balkan Yard standards to reflect the current zoning code.
Thank you. Are there questions from the commission for staff? I will note in the file, the support letter that was just noted from the Sandtown Winchester Association, the proper name, Sandtown Winchester Community Collective. And then there is one email of opposition from a Sharon Hayes, which simply says that she and neighbor, she's a block captain, Cumberland and Cary Street. Her neighbors do not want apartments and want single-family homes that will bring families to Sandtown Winchester. So that's the substance of that other one. Are there questions? No. Is the applicant here?
Yes.
Would you like to come up?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Derek Shaw. I've done a couple of these conversions in Holland Park with Dr. Bullock and of that nature. So this is merely a project to support homeless veterans. So we work with like St. Vincent de Paul, also Project Place, New Visions, to help house the homeless. So that's why we need most of the homeless people are single individuals. That's why we need to convert this into apartments for now. We don't get a lot of homeless families, more so individual people at that place. So, and I look for your support.
Thank you. Are there questions for the gentleman? Hearing, yes,
One question.
Yes.
This sounded great, good, well-intentioned. Will you be the management company for the property?
Oh, I do everything.
Do everything. Great, excellent.
Yes.
And so then you're in touch with the community association and they're aware of your plans?
Yes.
Perfect, thanks, Ed.
All right, thank you.
Okay. If there are no other questions, is there a motion to approve the staff's recommendation with the amendment adjusting the variance percentages in view of the intervening code change?
A comment, and then I will make a motion. I
Please.
just want to respond to the letter of opposition, because if you look at that area, while that block is traditional row houses, many of them vacant, the block just behind is newish, what's called the Nehemiah houses, which are single-family houses that were built in the 90s. And I happen to know the community organization that did support this project is working with the block captains as well as housing to continue to add a mix of housing options to the neighborhood. So I do think that this project's a good fit.
And Ms. Vice Chair, before you make a motion, I should have asked, I just was looking and I shouldn't presume. Is there anybody else here who wishes to be heard either for or against on this item? Okay, hearing none. Sorry, back to you.
Right. With that, I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
You've got that, Ms. Chiso? I do. Okay. If there's no further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Tiso.
Robin Allen. Councilman Bullock.
Approve.
Claudia Jolin.
Approve.
Doug McCoach.
Approve.
Jane Lewis.
Approve.
Eric Stevenson.
Approve.
And John Lariat.
Approve. Before the staff call the next item, just for the record, the chair is going to recuse himself from this item. Mr. Vice Chair, if you would, please.
Yeah. Our last item on the agenda today is a street closing a portion of Light Street, Calvert Street, and East Pratt Street.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Caitlin Audette. I'm here today to present the request for a street closing. As Director King just stated, the petitioner here is Harbor Place MCB Real Estate. This owner is City of Baltimore, and this is in the 11th Council District. The request involves the closing of what is popularly known as the Calvert Street Spur and adjacent portions of Pratt and Light Street as shown in the exhibit on screen. This is located adjacent to the Inner Harbor between McKeldin Plaza to the northwest and the Inner Harbor Promenade to the southeast. The roadway requested for closure includes up to 5 vehicular lanes moving to the north and east. The site is located in the downtown neighborhood and is at the intersection of 2 main thoroughfares in the city, Pratt and Light Streets. The area is zoned C5IH and is at the heart of downtown, near many of the spaces and venues that create the identity of the city. These include the Inner Harbor, National Aquarium, Science Center, CFG Arena, and others. To jump into the history and conformity to plans, at the December 23rd, 2023 hearing, the Planning Commission voted to recommend approval on 3 bills related to the Inner Harbor. These included an amendment to the Urban Renewal Plan, which was City Council Bill 23-0448, amendment to the Inner Harbor Project 1 Urban Renewal Plan. This bill amended the Urban Renewal Plan to make a variety of changes, including the modification and update of Exhibit E, showing the right-of-way to be dedicated and the removal of other completed dedicated right-of-ways. Additionally, in August of 2024, this closure was presented to the Planning Commission as part of the Harbor Place Master Plan. There was no action taken by the Commission at that time. It was also reviewed by UDAP in July of 2024. The 2024 Comprehensive Master Plan for the City of Baltimore aligns with the downtown plan and which was included as part of the comprehensive plan, and it included the closure of the proposed streets to allow for the redevelopment of the Inner Harbor. This was followed by Downtown Rise, which was recently adopted by the Planning Commission, which continued to recommend the closure of this road with a specific implementation action to remake the corner of Pratt, Light, and Calvert, and included recommendations to invest in pedestrian experience and safety. And then going back to 2013, this proposal conforms with the Baltimore Inner Harbor 2.0 plan, which was completed in 2013 under a partnership between Waterfront Partnership, Greater Baltimore Committee, the city, and Ayers St. Gross, and it recommended the removal of the spur as well, as you can see here. So for process, you guys have seen this a couple times today. The Department of Transportation requests that the Planning Commission consider the request to review impacts of a potential street closure, and then after the Planning Commission's initial review, legislation is created. So we're in that first step today. So I'm sure everyone's quite familiar with this intersection, but just to kind of lay it out, the area proposed for closure is 5 lanes of single-direction vehicular traffic between Light and either Pratt or Calvert Street, as well as portions of both Light Street to the south and Pratt Street to the east, and a bi-directional bike lane along the southern edge of the street. Light Street north of Pratt is one way with traffic moving south. The spur currently allows large volumes of northbound traffic on Light Street to shift to either eastbound Pratt or northbound Calvert. This is kind of hard to see, but the removal of the spur will require that northbound vehicular traffic on Light Street turn onto Pratt Street. The current maintenance of traffic plan for the proposed Inner Harbor development transitions a portion of Light Street north of Pratt to bi-directional traffic, allowing vehicles to move north as far as Baltimore Street. This proposal is currently under review by the Department of Transportation as part of an ongoing developers agreement. But generally, that's how some of this traffic will be dispersed throughout downtown. The bidirectional bike lane will also be addressed in the maintenance of traffic plan for the redevelopment site to maintain the bike route in this critical bike corridor. The proposed area to be closed will reduce the Light Street corridor from its current 9-lane design, which is the widest roadway design in all of downtown, to 6 total lanes at the intersection of Light Street and Pratt Street. Modern traffic science demonstrates that roadways with more lanes than necessary can substantially increase traffic. Drivers often default to the widest route and assume it will be faster. When all drivers make this choice, however, it substantially slows all vehicular travel. Reducing travel lanes will better distribute traffic to existing infrastructure and regulate the flow of vehicles throughout downtown. The adopted Complete Streets Manual for Baltimore City classifies this corridor as a downtown commercial corridor, which prioritizes the sidewalk and pedestrian zones for roadway design. Roads that allow vehicles to drive through at high speed do not encourage local economic activity. Vehicle travel lanes are the second lowest priority for a well-functioning downtown commercial corridor. These corridors require pedestrians, cyclists, and residents to succeed and thrive as non-vehicle users more efficiently stop and interact with the local economy. Downtown Baltimore is one of the most active pedestrian and cyclist zones in the city. Removing additional travel lanes where they are not required will create a positive feedback loop of increasing pedestrian traffic and modal share. This street closing will better align Light Street with the design considerations required by the Complete Streets Manual. And so the Equity Act portions also are kind of get to the analysis, so I'm just going to jump in there too. So the closure of the spur will impact drivers who use this street as part of a path through downtown Baltimore, typically from Interstates 295 or Interstate 395 to the west to either Interstate 83 to the east or to neighborhoods east of downtown. The removal of the spur will increase vehicular traffic along this route for those drivers. The closure will greatly increase public park space at the Inner Harbor, as the vehicular lanes will transition to become part of the Inner Harbor Park and connect McKeldin Plaza and the Waterfront Promenade. The closure better aligns roadway infrastructure with the approved requirements of the Complete Streets Manual, and it will reduce the amount of lanes that a pedestrian must cross to access the public waterfront at the Inner Harbor, greatly reducing negative interactions between pedestrians and automobiles. One of the few pedestrian fatalities in downtown since 2019 occurred in this spur, according to data from the Baltimore City High Injury Network. Comparable roadway designs near the stadium are narrower and have fewer reported injuries and fatalities for pedestrians and cyclists. For engagement, the closure of this portion of street was included as part of the Inner Harbor Master Plan and part of public messaging since its announcement in October of 2023. Since that time, 3 city council bills have been passed enabling the master plan and have included public testimony at both the Planning Commission and City Council. Additionally, the developer has hosted a number of meetings beginning in the summer of 2023. And lastly, the proposal for the Inner Harbor Master Plan has also been presented to the Planning Commission and reviewed by the Urban Design and Architecture Advisory Panel. For internal operations, the proposed street closure will require Department of Transportation staff to complete traffic studies to better understand the impact of such a major closure and make adjustments to streets throughout downtown to allow vehicular traffic to move once this change takes place. So notice that this action was provided to over 100 individuals in the downtown planning district. This is in addition to the notification sent through the Gov delivery system. Staff recommendation is approval. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Eric, could I ask a question, please?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Great presentation. This is something that I've sort of been in favor of going back like 24, 25 years. So I'm happy to see before I die, maybe downtown will change. Yeah, some of us long-term folks. But my question is, so if I understand this, we're going to close the streets and then we're going to do the traffic study? You want to talk about that kind of flip of the process?
Sure. So the developer has completed a traffic study, and that has been provided to the city. The city's DOT believes that a larger traffic study needs to be done, as this is going to have ripple effects that impact beyond just downtown and into neighborhoods. And so the traffic study referenced would be completed by the city and have be more expansive than what was provided by the developer.
So my expectation, if I asked, would be that certain of the intersections downtown get a failing grade today. I just presume, I don't have any information, but anybody who drives downtown would know when and where that happens. What do we do when we find, having approved the road closure, that the future traffic study predicts more failing intersections? Can you help me understand what actions we would have in front of us to address that?
As we, this is a conversation that we're going to have. Can you contextualize it with, if we take this action today, when does the street close?
So it's
As soon as possible. I might answer this if you don't mind. The street will close as soon as possible, but it's going to take some time. I want to go back to the initial question that you asked, Commissioner McCoach. I just don't want anybody to think that there hasn't been analysis of the traffic that will result from this. There have been many analysis of the traffic, and that process will be ongoing. There's a discussion right now as to the ultimate design for Pratt Street. What kind of improvements are made to the network overall downtown, to the grid, such that we can handle traffic as well as we can. As you know, traffic is going to be traffic. And I would bet that most of downtown intersections are failing. But they're failing on whose standard? They're failing if you're concerned about cars going slow. Well, we want cars to go slow, so we're winning when that happens. And if this slows cars down a bit more, then we win even more. So the whole point of this is that we as a city have to take every single action we can to make things safer, as you know, for pedestrians and cyclists and those using transit, people that want to live in the city, people that want to do business in the city. And this is a very important action in that regard. And that's why you and others have supported this for 25 years. So I just hate to isolate the idea that some traffic study is going to make some determination about how we handle an intersection, because we as a city must ensure that we're most focused on this being a place for people, knowing that traffic will be what it is. Traffic in Paris is way worse than Baltimore. It's not a question of whether we'll have traffic or not. It's a question of what else will we have. The thing about Paris is, even though their traffic is worse than ours, you know what else they have? Paris. Which makes it pretty good. And we need to keep moving in that direction as fast as we can. And so anyway, that's more than you wanted, but I just, the analysis of traffic has been ongoing probably for those 25 years. Those will continue to go on as we move step by step through this. But as you know, better than anybody perhaps, this is the action that we should be taking.
And to address your question, Commissioner Stevenson,
Not necessary.
I did want to give an update. Just that the developer's here and can speak to it specifically, but I do know that there is no intention that, Sale 250 is happening this summer, and I believe that will, many of the big changes will be after that. But I will defer to the developer. And also, I know there is a goal of the development team to allow for the completion of Rash Field before any work on the promenade begins, because they want to maintain public access to the water. And so once Rash Field is done, or the second phase of Rash Field, then work can begin on the northern portion of the promenade. So that way, the public always has access to our waterfront.
Thank you. I just wanted to sort of lead you to allay concerns that, the road's going to be closed tomorrow without accommodations being made.
Well, and like I said, this is the very first step. There still has to be legislation to go through.
Thank you. Any other commissioners with questions? Would the applicant like to add anything? Ms. Hecker?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Caroline Hecker, Rosenberg, Martin Greenberg, on behalf of MCB Harbor Place. I'm joined by Adam Dent, a representative of the development team. Today's action in many ways is a little bit of a I always forget about the mic. Sorry about that. This is a little bit of a belt and suspenders action to ensure that these portions of Light and Calvert and Pratt Street are properly closed. I mean, it's always been part of the urban renewal plan that the city will enact ordinances to carry out the intent of the plan through opening and closing city streets. And arguably, this commission has already approved the closure of the Calvert Street spur as part of its December 21st, 2023 hearing on the urban renewal plan amendment that showed this as right-of-way abandoned. And I just want to clarify, there was one statement that was, I think, just a typo in the staff report that showed it as right-of-way to be dedicated. It's the reverse, it's abandoned. But, you know, it's, like I said, it's been a while since 2023, and we're happy to come back to the commission always to, you know, give an update and to ensure that, you know, we have done everything that we need to do to confirm that this portion of the public right-of-way no longer needs to be open to public use. We look forward to turning Baltimore into the Paris on the Patapsco, and one day it will be that great city. Patapsco, yes. You know, the closure of this spur has been part of our Harbor Place plan from the very beginning. You know, as I said, it was part of the urban renewal plan showing the right-of-way as abandoned. The project received final design approval on October 15th, 2024, showing the closure of this spur. The voters approved the closure of the spur as part of the Question F referendum on the Harbor Place project in November of 2024. And the Harbor Place project received site plan approval on July 18th, 2025, which specifically noted that the plan eliminates the Calvert Street sweep and realigns Light Street to accommodate the elimination. The councilman for the district supports it. The action is in conformance with the Downtown Rise master plan. There have been extensive traffic studies completed. There will be more traffic studies completed. And in fact, I do want to add on that front that the traffic study that was done in connection with the Rise plan showed that the intersection at Light and Pratt Street will operate at a higher level of service upon the removal of the spur than it currently does. So, you know, all indications are that this is really going to be a net benefit for downtown for all of the reasons that we've talked about. So for all of these reasons, it's clear that this area does not need to remain open to public use, and the right-of-way can be closed. We look forward to moving forward quickly with the project, and we would appreciate your support. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Harris. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this matter? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any questions or discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Thank you, Commissioner Allen, Commissioner McCoach, Director Keene, or Eric, can call roll.
Sure. Robin Allen,
Approve?
Councilman Bullock,
Approve.
Claudia Jolin,
Approve.
Doug McCoach,
Approve.
Jane Lewis,
Approve.
and Vice Chair Stevenson.
Approve.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. If I'm not mistaken, is that the final item on our agenda?
That's it. Carry on.
Well, I'll welcome back the chair to gavel us out.
Oh, you want to pass the gavel down?
No, it's okay.
No other items of business? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? All those in favor, aye? Aye. All right, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.